First of all, thank you very much, the organizer, to give me the chance to share some of the new ideas or just a new thinking. So my topic is about conceptual model of the elevated city for urban space development. So just to mention, this is a new thinking. So this is a future dream for the city development. So just a Professor Chen Xiangsen gave you a very big idea about the current city development. So this one's completely different so the future city thinking. Okay, so I will also five parts to give my topic. So say due to the city become bigger and bigger due to the population density increase there. So heavy traffic, lack of parking place, and also the exhaust gas pollution. So anyway, so all this become the bottleneck of the problems for the cities, especially for the big cities. And of course, you have many ways to overcome such difficulty. For example, you can build our path, subway, express tunnel, and underground parking laws. And but the problems, all this kind of facility, you need a big investment. So it's a high construction cost, and always become the biggest problems for the city development. So we think for the future city, back to nature is the dream of the human beings. That means the people orientation and the ecological harmony should be the core concept for developing urban spaces. So when you come back to the very early history of the human beings, you can see that very beautiful pictures to show the people in the ground, in the mountain. So it's, you can see the harmony between human and nature. And then when the time increased, and you find that the people have more skills, for example, to plant the rice, to plant vegetables. So that means that agriculture enhances the man's ability to survive. And so you have village to development. And then you have some town, for example. So people like to live together because people living together maybe provide more convenience to the human life. So so you have the town development. And then the technology, so development. So technology, of course, will make people as life more convenient and more comfortable, for example. So in the beginning, so we find the coupling between modern technology and the living environment, so giving people the better life. So for example, oh, you have a car, you have a bicycle, and you have TV. But the problem is this kind of technology develop more and more technology come into the people's life, and the city become bigger and bigger. So you find some difficult to live in a city, a big city. So when the strong coupling between modern technology and then even environmental, I think this kind of strong coupling so has reduced the quality of the human life. So for example, during very young age, maybe my neighborhood have a car, so I thought, oh, it's really good. It surprised me. But when everyone have a car, so car is not a linear transportation because you have the many traffic jam. So it's not convenient, you have pollution. So for our purpose, so we have to think about future. So many technology come into your life. It's not make your life more happy, but in fact, reduce your quality of the human life. So we have to think about our future. So here, so I think one of the solution to the problem is elevated city. So here, the elevated city. So I think it's a solution to reduce the interaction between modern technology and the human settlements. So I just mentioned the technology people mix together, they make it, the whole society complicated but not comfortable. That means because for our development, our future, so I think the first one we have to think about human is the son of the nature. So we need sunshine, we need rain, snow, day and night, and 4 seasons, for example. So the idea of humans' future development is to return to nature. So how can we return to nature? We cannot stop development of technology. So I think every city provides a solution. So that means to decoupling between modern technology and human settlement. So make them work in different ways, in different layers of the city. So here we think the city should build in 3 layers. So when you design the new towns, so the fundamental principle, you have to respect to nature. So how to respect to nature? That means you build more artificial space to replace your, for example, underground space. So to minimize the excavation, for example, if you have a city without excavation, I think this is a really ecological city and low carbon city, and being the best protection of the nature. So what's the idea about 3 layer? I mentioned again. So for example, the elevator layer. The elevator level, so you build more space for human activities. And you build more artificial ecological environment. So people can activity. You can walk here, you can stay, you can play football, everything, because you have no disturbance from the car, from the train. And so this is a level only for people. So for ground level, for example, for ground level, we give all the whole ground level to the transportation. So you have a car, you have the train, you can hold, you have lots of parking space. So this will completely slow the urban traffic congestion and also parking difficulties. Even you can slow the problem of the exhaust pollutions. Of course, you also have ground levels, for example, underground space. But here, the underground space maybe it's not for shopping, it's not for people living, but for something is not suitable for the surface. So provide the infrastructure that is not suitable for the surface. So I will just go into a little bit of detail about the concept of the model. For example, we think the first the characteristic of the elevator city is the elevator platform for the human activities. So I mentioned that one. So this platform is for the all the platform is just for human social activities. You can play there. You can have a bicycle driver. You can play football, and of course you can have your family to share the sunshine, to share everything. Okay, but without any disturbance from the technology, from the car, for example. So for the second, or the real ground level, because you can see the ground level is a very good level for heavy to heavy, for example, transportations. So ground level will save as the, for example, the whole urban transportation can be used for the operation of the road light rail instead of subway. So this city no subway, just ground level, cars, public bus, and parking lots. So I think enough space for parking lots. So the subway can be replaced with some of the light rail trains. Yeah. The third characteristic, I think, the elevator city is about the vehicle exhaust can be drained or collected, because everything, the car, train, everything is underground, is under the platforms. So that maybe the can be, for example, the exhaust gas can be centralized to collected and or put in the air or just connected to treatment. And so this is the only way I think we can treat the car pollutions in this kind of cities. And I think the most important characteristic of animated city is we can use the roof of the animated platform to function as the underground unit pipe trainers. So you can say during the last 10 years, the idea about the underground pipe trainer is very popular, but it costs a lot of money. So no city can afford to do the real things to provide the underground utility pipe trainers. But this gives you a solution. You just use the roof. Everything you could just suspended the ceiling structure. To use the suspended ceiling structures, you can have the pipes, cables, and accessory, for example, water supply, drainage system, heating system, gas system, technical communication, anyway, everything. So, and it's easy to handle it, for example, for repair, so for the maintenance, because just everything you can see really clear, of course. And also the idea for example, sponge city. So it's a popular idea in during the last 10 years. But here you needn't to do anything about the sponge city, but the whole city can function as a sponge city, because the platform can get everything from the slow for the rain, and then you can handle it according to your plan. So, of course, I think the revolutionary point is a completely new model of prefabricated block. For example, the elevated penetration payment constructions. So you can build everything in the factory, not on site. You just move it with the car to the on site, and so put it together, put it as a function. So this is a really, we call the green construction model, green construction model. So, and also it's very easy to do that, because you need to cycle every very big area for constructions. So I think the advantage, so very big advantage for this kind of ideas. I think I show you 6 advantages. The first one is because the construction of the animated pavement, so people and the vehicle and people the car are completely separated. So this will greatly improve the pedestrian safety. This design also greatly increase the space for living activities and isolate automobile exhaust and also noise. For example, this kind of noise pollution is also very complicated. It's very heavy in the cities. So I call this very distinct from the car, from the transportations to the human beings. So the second one, I think the whole transportation system, because located at the ground level. So I think there is excavation. Of course, that's just a meaning of there. That means you need to have the underground excavation, no tunnels, so not car tunnels, even no parking lots underground. So everything related to transportation just put in the ground levels. So just put it, for example, the car, the train, yeah, it's easy to do that, and grant a big space for that kind of. And also the safe transportation system can avoid the urban traffic jam and greatly increase traffic flow and speed. Yeah, this is a very big advantage. So no zero congestions, and especially the various big, small weather disaster disturbance. For example, the snowstorm or typhoon will have no influence on the transportation. for the whole system of the city. So no damage. And also I mentioned the vehicle exhaust and pipe gallery. Yeah, all the pipe galleries. You need them to stay at the underground space or channeling for that. It's just put the roof of the ceiling roof. So no sponging the investment, no sponging investment, but you can use this kind of facility. So this system greatly induces the risk of flooding, for example, and then increase the rain reservation. So fundamentally achieve the function of the spongy cities. Of course, so you have no bigger construction site around your city, the road, and anyway. So because everything, the structure, the composite is built up in the factories. So for the potential application, except for city, especially I think that it's easy for the solution to typhoon-prone cities. For example, Hong Kong and along the Guangzhou, Shenzhen, yeah, along the coastlines, yeah, along coastlines. So no typhoon have influence, and also the solution to the to some of the urban construction in low-lying wetlands and low wet, because we have no underground structure. So we have no underground structure. That's for the wetlands. It's easier to build the city, the facilities. Yeah. Okay. So for the concluding remarks, I'd like to show some pictures to share with you. So I think that the first time to Hong Kong is just after 1997, and then if you almost every year I come to Hong Kong. So my wife to take some picture about the Pony U. So in fact, the animated cities ideas originated from these pictures. So this is a very good model, I think, to show people how the different level works. So for the cities. And especially, I'm very happy to know that. So the Dr. Chen already showed a very good idea about how the anyway, they call the green deck. Green deck. Yes, green deck is the same idea. I think that they put everything, the people in the safest layer, and for underground level. Oh, sorry. So the safe ground level is for the transportations. But if this area become bigger and bigger, and then you can function as a city function. Okay, thank you for your attention. Yeah.